time. I can't wait. The boy is back. Ravi, joined with the king of games, Blackamora, and it's time to review season 2 of X-Men 97 and preview season 3 and maybe even further beyond. We know they've got cleared to like season 5. Let's get into it. Or in episode number 145 of the
Streamcast.
Hello and welcome to the Streamcast. Bringing people together through gaming since 2018. I'm joined with Ravi. How you doing, bro?
Mate, to be fair, I'm boarding alive. I was in the office today and I had all my windows and all that shut. So like there has been no air that's hit my flat at any point today. So I'm just like, this is almost like a steam room. But hey, for the love of the X-Men, I'll suffer through it.
For the love of the game. That's what we want to hear. And there's several games that you are on top of. Obviously, X-Men 97, the Premier League. What was it? We were talking before we went live. It was the McDonald's charity cup or something like that.
Mate, we've just won the English Super Cup. What are you talking about?
You know what? I'm going to back you on that because I feel like it should actually be given a bit of respect. And if the sport gives it respect, the players will give it respect. And if the players give it respect, the fans will give it respect. It's called the Super Cup in every other major country in the world.
Exactly.
I think Streamcast should kick off this petition right now. The Community Shield should be renamed to the English Super Cup. I don't care why it's called the Community Shield. Get rid of it. Sell the rights.
Screw the community.
Who cares about the community? Blackamora 2026. We move on from that unimportant stuff, football, to something important, the X-Men. And I've just dropped a 60-second review where I try to spoil as few things as possible. Let me know if you've seen that on the Instagram and what your thoughts are. But let's open this up to Ravi, our special guest. What were your opening thoughts, your general well-rounded thoughts over season 2 as a whole?
I liked it. I really did. I think it carried on the vibe from season 1 really well. It didn't go in the direction I thought it would. And in some ways, that's a good thing. In some ways, I'd have preferred if they did. I do have to admit I preferred season 1 over 2. However, it's like if the bar is up here, it's so hard to reach it. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if it's like just here, it's still great. It's still better than a lot of content that Marvel have pushed out. But like, I did have my expectations going in, and it was so high. I just couldn't really understand some of the choices that were made sort of later down the line. Obviously, we'll get into it at some point. But like, I think they got it into a position where going forwards into season 3, into season 4, there's plenty of stuff to get stuck into. So yeah, that's my overall sort of like headline thoughts. What about you?
That's very fair and interesting that you think that. I generally agree. I think I liked season 2. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. I definitely don't think it was bad. So yeah. I think the general vibe amongst the internet, and I say mainly YouTube, and that is that I think people were kind of disappointed with season 2 because season 1 did a really good job of building a lot, and it was quite linear. It was quite clear the way they were going, and season 2 kind of deviated a little bit, and it kind of felt like you were baking a cake in season 1, and now all of a sudden I have a pie. I don't hate it, but I'm kind of shocked. My brain isn't computing these things well. And the 60-second review I put out on Instagram and TikTok, kind of forgot to put it on YouTube. Don't worry about it. I'll put it out tomorrow. I basically made mention to, I feel like this was the season where the showrunners changed. I mentioned in the season 1 review how Bo DeMeo was the showrunner and he got fired. And I think it was here that you can notice the switch. I think we're going to spoil as many things as possible here because you've had enough time. The entire season's out. If you're a binger, go ahead. I I feel like after the rise of Apocalypse, the season kind of takes a weird turn. You have obviously Wolverine's episode makes sense in terms of the end point, but the journey there was kind of weird in terms of we've got all of these weird characters in, and it kind of doesn't get referenced again in the rest of the series. And then grading Creed, I I didn't like that episode. I thought that was a bad episode, but I do think the season as a whole did pick up, apart from the last one, because I felt like they were building to something, and we kind of got blue board.
I thought there'd be 10 episodes this season. I forgot there was 9. So when it was going like, oh, it's going to be finale weekend, it ended up, and I was like, oh, there'll be a double bill finale because that's where it's leading into. And then when I saw just a 1 episode and it's a 9 episode season, I looked at it and I was like, that's a lot to try and clear up for 1 episode with the way that they sort of left it. And I didn't know how they were going to go about it. But yeah, like I completely understand what you mean. I completely understand.
Yeah. And I will say that we are testing things out. We are also live on Instagram, and I should be able to read your comments. So we'll see. We're testing it live, pal. If you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. That helps us out greatly. We've just passed 600 subs, and we're on the road to 1,000 because YouTube has, thank you, Ravi. YouTube has decided to make things harder for aspiring creators. They're doubling all of the metrics that you need to get to become partnered from February. So we have a deadline. We're actually halfway to getting to super chats and super thanks and membership status right now. So if everyone could really support us by sharing the content, watching the live streams and the podcast, that would go a long way. Appreciate you. And yeah, going back to the X-Men, I think I do sympathize with the writers that took on the role. Obviously, you kind of want to respect what the previous showrunner has done in their work, but also you have your own ideas. You have your own mission. You want to go your own way. So there was a little bit of a clash there, which I hope they will sort out with season 3 and beyond. But just like you said, I think it was too much to wrap up in 1 episode, and they tried their best, but yeah, ultimately it just kind of fell flat for me. But it's not. I'll compare this to something else. I thought Invincible season 2 was quite boring, and I dropped it halfway during season 2 because it was they've done such a great job with season 1, and then season 2 was really slow. Whereas what I felt they did with this season, they started off really hot. They continued the pacing. It was quite intense with Nathan and Jean and Scott, and then we got an awesome fight scene, even though no one really like gets slaughtered in it. It did enough to be like, okay, the X-Men are back, even though they're split between different timelines. So they built up a lot based off that really hot first season. This is how I felt a new season should go off after building up a really hot first season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to know what was your favorite part of season 2?
I really liked the exploration of En Sabanor in terms of like who, like, because we've seen Apocalypse in multiple in various iterations really, and like what was it the other day I decided to, like, I got really bored and I was on an X-Men high after 97, which sounds really like counterproductive to what I was saying earlier about it not meeting my expectations, but I was on like an X-Men wave and I was just like, let me just watch a random X-Men movie. It turned out to be Apocalypse. Forgot how hit and miss the X-Men movie series is. And I was just kind of looking at it and I was just like, they don't really explain how he got his powers. It's just that he did, because the movie starts with him just like doing the transference to another consciousness to gain some more abilities. And even in the 90s version of the show, they don't really explain who Apocalypse is or his origins, right? At any given point. They kind of did that here, well, I say they kind of did that here. They did it in actual detail for the first time on a like live action or like TV format, and I think it was really well explained, but we almost got so much new information about him that I would have loved to have sort of like stayed within that just a little bit longer, just to like see how his like timeline really happened, because we're seeing it with them going back and forwards in time and their influence in his life, but not actually what his specific origin to the apocalypse that they're trying to beat now actually is, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I would have liked a little bit more of like his world and how he, like, even if there's a montage of like the powers that he's taken over millennia, so that we know just how strong he is based on the abilities that he's taken. And yeah, I think like but I do think that exploration of Apocalypse as a whole was like I thought that was great. I think it was a really smart choice to do that, especially over the course of episodes and how long he's been around for.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want to give a quick shout out to Ty joining us through Instagram. Appreciate you, bro. I definitely think the Apocalypse arc or the mini saga in season 2, definitely my favorite part of the whole season. I think they exactly hit the nail on the head that you mentioned. They've never really covered Apocalypse's origin in a TV show. And similar to you, you've been watching X-Men movies because of the X-Men 97 high. Yeah. I've been going back and I've actually gone to watch the original animated series.
Yeah.
When I get past the theme song, because I keep replaying it, the episodes are they're weird. I wouldn't have liked it as a kid. But
really?
I really appreciate. I think there's. I'm gonna try my best to explain it, but I don't think I'm gonna do a good job. So I'm watching the Spider-Man series as well, the one with the really good theme song.
Yeah.
So I'm watching that and X-Men. Also, they have a crossover. It's so cool. Yeah. Spider-Man, the way the story is told in Spider-Man is very simple, like 1-to-1, and it's just reminding and reinforcing what I watched as a kid. It's very simple. Whereas I feel like the X-Men story is mature. The way the story is being told isn't bad at all. I just think it is targeted towards an older market, I think. It's not targeted towards like the shonen market, for example. But I appreciate it now. I think what they're doing is a lot of complexities, like Magneto and Xavier aren't really enemies, but they just have opposing views.
Yeah.
And I feel that series has done a really good job with it, as opposed to like the movies or Evolution, which does tell a more traditional, I'm good, I am evil, there, we fight. And I feel like season 2, I've just finished season 2 of X-Men, the original series. I feel like that finale was done a lot better than the 97 version of season 2's finale, even though that fight only really lasts an episode, but the fight tells a story. There's a whole story within the action that's being told. Whereas in the 97 season 2 finale, it does feel very rushed. It does feel like, we've got insta-solve.
Yeah. But is that more to do with the fact that there's only 9 episodes here and 22 episodes back in the 90s? That you could tell a whole story over like so many episodes, because I think they got like I don't know if it started in season 2, but definitely through some of the later series, it's split into chunks of episode arcs. So it's almost just like this thing for 4 episodes, this thing for 3 episodes, this thing for like 2 episodes, and it like clearly says part 1, part 2. So it's almost like, rather than sort of like a 22 episode season, it's kind of like an 8 episode season, but then like it's just split across an average of like 3 episodes per episode in it, like
Yeah,
in inverted quotes. So like they've got more time to like flesh out those storylines.
that's a really good point. I agree with you there. I think that's something that definitely worked for the original series team and worked against the 97 series team. Um, and I remember I did want to say, I feel like Apocalypse just shows up in X-Men, the original series. There's no like explanation behind, but besides, he's just evil and he's big and he has apparently all the powers. So I'm definitely with you there. Like having a little bit, no, they did more than a little bit. To be fair, they did a real origin story. I think he got 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah,
that was nice. That was the pacing that I really enjoyed. It wasn't just you got the first half he was En Sabanur and then he transforms by the end of the episode. No, you got a whole journey and you can understand his point of view for once. And Magneto, that son of a bitch. That absolute meddler, that generational fuck up. He can't.
Like he couldn't help himself. He
couldn't. Oh, he just whispering sweet nothings into his ear. Of course he's gonna get pissed. And then you have his best man Kratos just telling him to like kill everyone. It was wild. But yeah, definitely my high point. And I did have a sense of dread watching those episodes because it just felt like no matter what these guys try, they are gonna push En Sabanur into being Apocalypse. The more they try, the more they're pushing towards it. It's just a Greek tragedy. So I felt that was a really nice paced mini part of the saga. Yeah, do you have any other high points of the series?
I do. Well, and this is going to go into the later elements of stuff. I think the MVP of this whole season is Nightcrawler. It feels like
100%.
He was the star of this season. Like I know, you could argue Cyclops was the guy in series 1 of 97, and like there were some bits with Gambit and Rogue and like their stories, but Nightcrawler, especially from the midway point of the series to the end, you could get the feeling that he was the center of everything, even though like it wasn't obvious that he was the center of everything. He was just involved in the important storyline of every episode. And there's one thing that I clocked in episode 8, and this is what I kind of was going to allude to you about. They foreshadowed his death at the very start of episode 8. So they're playing poker, and it's down to him and Beast. And the cards that Nightcrawler has, his hand is a dead man's hand.
Oh my gosh!
And I watched that. I literally watched that about an hour ago, and I looked at it and I was like, they literally told us that he's a dead man. And
damn.
like it's so subtle. Like it's a blink and you'll miss it kind of thing that most people would just never have even clocked. And I didn't even clock it when I first saw it. It was only in this like rewatch that I did that I looked at it and I was like, oh no, they explicitly told us that it's him. If anyone's gonna die, it's him.
And that's so sad. That's a great point. I didn't even clock.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that's why I said I was gonna save it until we went live.
Yeah. That's a smart. That's a businessman right here. Save it till we go live. Save the good shit for the podcast. And you know what's weird? I remember when we reviewed season 1.
Yeah.
I think I said something like Gambit's death was really sad, and Nightcrawler's part in the intro replaces Gambit's. Yeah. And I was like, I love Nightcrawler, but he's not.
He's not Gambit.
He's not Gambit.
Yeah.
And now after season 2's finale, I'm like, oh no, Nightcrawler! I'm so
my boy.
Yeah. Oh no! Hey, bro, get your ass back there. That really upset me, but
yeah,
now that you say that, that's really good.
Yeah, and like that was one of the things that I really enjoyed. Like, because I mentioned it in the Series 1 review podcast that we did a couple of months ago now, that Nightcrawler is one of my favorite characters in all of X-Men. And I just think this season especially did him and his ideology as a character really, really well. Like they didn't do him dirty at all throughout the season. And I just think, his what they did for his character and who he is and what he stands for makes the final episode decision kind of like justified in his thinking. Because if they didn't explore the things around, say, the court case with his brother, who hates mutants, and his desire for love, acceptance, and that belief that he holds so dear, then him doing what he did in the finale makes no sense. It's kind of a bit out of character, but when you show his morality and the things that he stands for in such clear, like, daylight, you can then look at the final decision and be like, actually, no, I understand exactly why he's done this, because he fundamentally cares about these people and says they should be, like, they never had this opportunity to actually be together. And, if my death can provide that, then I will do this for the two people that I love.
Yeah. Again, you're right. That's a really good point. I feel like while season 1 was definitely a Cyclops redemption arc project that succeeded.
Yeah.
And
they finally made him cool.
And he was redeemed. He was the MVP alongside the likes of Magneto and Rogue, I'd say. Yeah. Season 2 definitely focused on Nightcrawler. And I don't think he needed a redemption arc as much, but I do think season 2 definitely raised his stock higher than ever before. He's become one of my favorite X-Men now, and I think he is the closest in ideology to Professor X.
Yeah. I think you're right there.
Out of the two leaders, I'm definitely leaning more Magneto, but I think Professor X's mentality and vision is definitely one that should exist in this X-Men universe. And I just really like the way Nightcrawler carried himself, every line he delivered, even though I didn't like the episode because it just felt so far left.
Yeah.
The trial episode is really good. His part of the trial was really powerful in terms of what he's dealing with at the moment. He's dealing with his half-brother, and his half-brother is a piece of shit. And the only reason he hates mutants is because he isn't one. Fuck off. I could at least stand with him if it was like, you know what, I just hate mutants because they're different. They're weird. Fine. Yeah. But he hates them because he can't be one of them. He is a conditional hater. And I hate that. He's a piece of shit. And I love when Nightcrawler literally snapped and he was like, you know what? Maybe it would be better if I killed you for the sake of the mutants. Just left him in the snow. Absolute hero. I'm gonna miss Nightcrawler. It shouldn't have been him, in my opinion, but I understand why it was. Good. That was good. That was why I personally gave season 2 7 out of 10. I gave season 1 a 9, but really strong. We got Troy here. What's going on, bro? It made him look more than a Bible basher. In the original, he led more faith heavy. In this one, faith backed his core beliefs and how deeply he stands for it. Okay, yeah, I see that. Ravi's right in that he just needed that for the end to make sense. Very fair, very solid. Yeah. Any moments that you were disappointed in this season?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I said that with a deep sigh. It's more to do with the fact of the expectations I had going into it, and what I wanted to see by the end. And for me, what they set it up as, because the post-credit scene in season 1 was Apocalypse picking up the burnt cards to resurrect Gambit, which is obviously where we went this season. We all expected that. We all knew that was going to happen. What all of us talked about in your last episode when we did season 1 was who would make up the remaining 3 horseman spots. And for me, I would have loved, like, it would have made so much sense for Gambit to come back, convince his Rogue to join the ranks so that they could, be together and be like, this is how I gained my power. And now, like when they met in this season, Rogue could touch him because effectively he was an empty shell of a person. So it would have made sense for Rogue to join Apocalypse in a sense of, her love and care for Gambit would have convinced her that that is where she needed to be, even if she also got corrupted by Apocalypse as well. And, you could it would be very clear if we're looking at the 4 horsemen of death, right? 4 horsemen of the Apocalypse, then Gambit is clearly death because he's been resurrected. And also, can I say, the addition of the scythe on his staff was sick.
So cool.
So sick. But also, it would so his death, then that would have made Rogue war because she's gone. She's basically going to fight for to stay with her love. So that is an implication of her being war. And then you've got 2 spots for Pestilence and
Conquest,
right? And you can make that whoever else from the plethora of X-Men characters. Archangel could come back into the fold. Who knows? Or like someone else can come in. Maybe even like someone gets the idea of just sort of like he's promised me this, he's done this for me, and therefore I will help him in his conquest and big conquest or whatever it is. I would have loved for the final battle to go through, I would actually call the 9 episodes for what they are. You got the first 3 that kind of sets up the past, the future, and everyone comes back. Then you can explore Nightcrawler and that element of the middle stage. Then you can go into the final 4 episodes of him claiming all of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, going into the finale and saying, okay, this is Apocalypse and it's 4 horsemen, and this is the big fight. And that's what I expected to come out of this. That's what I wanted to come out of it. And when I realized that that's not where they were going to go with it, I was like, actually, if you're going to do Apocalypse, do it in full. Don't do it as sort of his basically spirit has gone inside the shell of Gambit, and you've got all this sort of drama with Professor X trying to fight between the 2 sections in his brain, and then Rogue trying to rescue him from there. I think they should have really lent into the 4 horsemen aspect of Apocalypse, because that's what he bases his whole sort of mission on. He needs his 4 sidekicks really. And yeah, for me that was the big disappointment, and unfortunately that is the main arc of the show.
Yeah.
And I think if they really lent into the 4 horsemen aspect, I think it would have exceeded season 1.
That's an interesting point. I think I'd agree with that, because again, it adds more dimensions to the story that they're telling, and it helps the fact that they took out war very early on in that season.
Yeah.
So there is the basis for Apocalypse to replace war. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
I'm with you. Shout out to the phenomenal one who's joined on Instagram. Hope you are feeling better soon, my friend. But the phenomenal one was on this podcast not too long ago, as is Ravi here. And I am a bit biased, and I like to think that this is one of the best podcasts in the world. And just like Becky Lynch, it's not just me saying it. Million podcasts are saying it. Now, in January, I did announce this. We were in the top 25 of the best 40 gaming podcasts in the UK. And I said, let's get to number 1. We've made some headway. We are now number 11 of the best 40 gaming podcasts in the UK. This is obviously an amazing achievement for me. This is almost 8 years' work, so I'm very gassed. But you know what that means? There are still 10 blood cut podcasts that we have to take out. How
Is this the point where your internet's died and I've got to take over the podcast? Because I don't know when, so I'm not sure when this cut out for everyone else. But yeah, there are 10 podcasts ahead of Streamcast. And yeah, with more support, with likes, sharing, more people getting eyes on this, it allows Andy to just get more guests on, get more eyeballs on all of the content. And he's been doing some great stuff, really good stuff. His streams have been great. His Pokemon Nuzlocke challenge has been so much fun to watch. And yeah, there's content coming from kind of everywhere, and he's a great dude. And that's why I'm here, being part of the podcasts, being here just to chat about the stuff that we all love. Like this, like X-Men hits so hard for so many people, because people can identify themselves with kind of anyone and everything. Like everyone has their own favorite X-Men, and you know, chuck a comment in the chat, whether it's Instagram or YouTube or wherever you're watching this, on who your favorite X-Men is and kind of why. And there he is.
Of course, the internet waits for me to promote my own podcast.
Yeah, just right in the middle of shameless self-promotion, you know.
Yep. Sorry, Ravi, I interrupted.
Don't worry,
you.
I was chatting about you for a little bit. I'm really kind of like telling people, like, kind of like, really, like this guy with the dodgy internet connection.
I'm firing whoever got me that. Anyway, disappointments in the season. Yeah, mainly the finale for me. Kind of did go over that already.
Yeah,
just how quickly everything got resolved. Like you said, I think 9 episodes wasn't long enough, so they built a lot, even through the X Factor and the X Force. Also, can we just give some applause to how cool the X Force opening is? That's fucking cool.
Do you know what? One of my highlights that I had noted down as well was the fact that for every episode, they changed the intro credits to who was being featured so heavily in there. And when they did the X Factor and the X Force credits, I was like, this is great. And one of the other things that I loved about this is that, like, they allowed the sort of like viewing of like multiple different mutant factions within the world, because usually it's just the X-Men and bad people, whereas like this allowed like other subgroups to come up based on like their ideologies and how they seek justice.
Yeah, I thought that was very cool. I'm not sure why they're all going by X, because X is a Professor X thing, no?
Yeah, unless he's just got a monopoly on the X's. And then he's just like, he's slyly the leader of all of them.
Yeah.
Is that Emperor Palpatine just like under a hood going like, it's not me? Like in one of them, he's got a wig on. I'm Professor Y.
I just like to think in this universe, in kayfabe, everyone is secretly so impressed by Professor X that they're like, oh, we got to go with X something. X Factor, yeah. Very cool. I also want to give a shout out to Polaris. I thought she was really good in this season.
I think she had a really good season. I think she's
Yeah.
one of those underrated side characters of the X-Men, where she's been in multiple like different groups, like X Factor, X-Men, and some other like
Some other
groups as well.
exes.
Some other X's, whichever X floats your boat, she's part of it probably. And like I think they did a really good way of saying, okay, there are people that their ideologies have changed. They've gone from one group to another based on what they believe. And, maybe they've lost sight of themselves. Jubilee, for example, is a great person to align Polaris's moral compass to be like, you used to be here. We used to hang out all the time. We used to be such good mates. Like, who even is this person that you've become now? To a point where she returned back to the X-Men and got her space in the actual title credits again.
Very cool. That's a really good point that you made in terms of it feels like a living, breathing world in terms of how the individual characters can all of a sudden, maybe not all of a sudden, but realize I'm fighting the wrong fight. This doesn't fit with my beliefs. I thought this was right. I thought this is what I believed, but it's actually not. And we saw that with Jubilee going to X-Force. We saw it obviously coming back to X-Men, and then, like you said, Polaris. Very cool. I love how Jubilee called Havoc a knockoff Cyclops. Especially if you know his relationship with Cyclops.
I'm pretty sure it's like one of those, like, it's funny just generally, but it's funnier if you know.
Yes. It's a chuckle if you don't know, but it's a bit of a roaring
It's
laugh
a
if you do
laugh.
know. Yeah. I thought that was something we were going to get in the finale as well. We didn't, so maybe season 3. But again, that is, and you can see the resemblance in the way they carry themselves. They're both type A personalities. They're both natural leaders. So it makes sense that they can't be in the same team.
Yeah.
And I'm getting there in the X-Men. I've done a ton of research now because I was a casual, but I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. Their powers don't hurt each other, from what I understand. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that manifests in the 97 series if we get there.
Okay, no, that'll be pretty interesting actually, because I didn't know that they cancel out each other. I thought it was one of those where it's just like if they both did their sort of like blast at each other, it just sort of like goes neutral, as opposed to like it being like a fully sort of like it doesn't affect it, like this is not effective.
Yeah, like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like when I do a flamethrower on a Sudowoodo, because I think it's a grass type.
I don't know if I sent it to you, but I did see this thing of just going like all X-Men are Pokemon, and like it's just like they were going through it and they were like, this person, like this X-Men is this character, and or like this type Pokemon. I was just looking at it like that's actually so true.
You know what? I don't think you sent me that, but I'd love to see it because that
I will need to send you this, and we might even have to do another podcast based on which, like, all of the X-Men and what type they are.
Yes. Absolutely. But I think there was definitely more positive things to mention in this season than negative, for sure.
Yeah.
Are there any moments, or I've got a better question. What other things do you have to say about season 2? Because I do want to touch on some potential future avenues of the future season. So, what other touching moments do you have about season 2?
I think I would have liked to have seen as we were talking about the factions of the groups. I know they interact with each other quite a lot, but I think it would be super important, really, to kind of like see how they go about each of their own operations. I would have liked to see a bit more in the way of like missions from X Factor, X-Force. I know they kind of had their sort of like 1 or 2 episodes where they were involved, and they like you could see the way that they operated, but you didn't really like see how much they interacted with each other, unless they were like interacting with the X-Men, for example. I would have liked to have seen a bit more interaction between X-Force and X-Factor, and just see how their views sort of differ from each other, because you can kind of see it with the X-Men versus the other two, but to them but like to most viewers, it's just going to kind of look like, and it's gone again. It's just going to kind of look like it's the X-Men who are just the all good, all like this is the light side of the Force kind of thing, versus like people who are operate in the grey, but not necessarily which kind of like shade of grey that each of them go by. So I think it would have been really nice to see that. But also, I think the post-credit scene as well, and Andy's not going to hear this until he comes back or rewatches this, really. But I think the post-credit scene was good, but I don't think Mystique is enough of a big bad on the level that, say, Apocalypse is, because Apocalypse is kind of like the main X-Men villain. Like, he's kind of everything that the X-Men are built to fight against, and a lot of their stories across the cartoon back in the 90s, but effectively the whole of this season, and there was a whole movie on the Age of Apocalypse. But I just think to go from such a big bad and like the ultimate X-Men big bad down to like Mystique being the rest of the being the main villain is like it's kind of disappointing. I wouldn't say it's like super disappointing, but it's just kind of it's kind of underwhelming that is kind of where you're going to go with. It's fine. I've been on a monologue about what.
I appreciate you, Ravi. Now, Lucky Barnacles joining us through Instagram. I appreciate you. Sorry, Ravi, let me not interrupt
basically,
your point.
what I was saying, one of the things that I was a little bit disappointed with was the fact that going into the post-credit scene and of episode 9, it's a little bit disappointing going from arguably the biggest X-Men villain ever to Mystique. And that's not really not to take anything away from Mystique. Like, I think she can be a great villain. I think she can be a great like member of the X-Men when she's part of it. But I just think going from like the X-Men villain and like the way that he died to kind of like make Dark Gambit, I guess, to the villain like being led as Mystique feels really underwhelming.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I get it. Am I good?
You're good now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you did kind of freeze a second. I was a bit like, oh, I'm gonna.
No.
I'm gonna have to come up with another one.
Yeah. God, I am peeking at the internet. If you see me looking off screen, Mystique is one of Apocalypse's most loyal soldiers in the original series, so I do understand her appearance now. It makes sense. I agree with you, Ravi. I think she's a shit villain because she's just weak. And I remember in X-Men Evolution, this one scene where she tries to fight Storm. She does a fly kick towards Storm, and who's an Omega level mutant. And he just strikes her down with lightning. That is my first thought whenever I think of Mystique. Obviously she's much more of a tactician. She's quite intelligent, I would say. So I'm looking forward to seeing what other games that she's got in store for season 3. I imagine she's going to try or succeed to break the gem that is containing Apocalypse. I imagine that's going to be her big moment in season 3. We are destined to get that war between Apocalypse and Cable, but it's I'm with you. For a post-credit scene is kind of like, oh, is that it?
Yeah. Like if you're comparing season 1 post-credit scene
Mm.
of the resurrection of Gambit by Apocalypse as
Yeah.
a horseman to Mystique
Mystique.
getting into politics, like
She
it's
shoots Cooper.
yeah, and like it's one of them that's just like, oh, okay, I see where this is going, but unless she's got like an army of scrolls behind her that can also
Yeah.
shapeshift into people of power, it's kind of like like it it's not really this sort of like world-ending threat that the X-Men deal with.
Yeah.
It's just like a significant inconvenience.
Yeah, like Black Widow said, small potatoes.
Yeah.
Before my internet does a Seth Rollins and stabs me in the back, what things would you like to see in the next season of X-Men 97?
I think I'd like to see it's hard because I'd like to see X-Men go a little bit more cosmic, like they did in some of the later seasons of the 90 show, and to kind of what they did in season 1 with Lilandra and the Shi'ar and that sort of like world that they can get involved in. I think what would be interesting would see the Phoenix Force come back, and in whatever way, right? Because Madeline Pryor is there. They have done that whole separation between the two of them. But then what's to say that the Phoenix Force can't be part of other people, or like that it can't like go into another species or anything like that? Like it can't. I like obviously it's so synonymous with Jean Grey, but I would think it would be really interesting to see it being part of, you know, say like an Omega Red, or like
That's crazy.
No,
I
but
love
like,
it.
do you know what I mean? Like, because like I play one of those like Marvel games on my mobile, and they've got like some like sort of like custom characters that they've introduced of like Phoenix Force Omega Red, for example, and he looks cool as fuck. Yeah, like it's one of them things where it's just like, I don't know how you could incorporate that, but I would like to see them kind of like throw the rule book out of the window a little bit to be like, I know this is very synonymous with, you know, Jean Grey and like the Phoenix and all this, but like, what's to say that the Force can't come back as almost like possess another entity or group of entities, or like share the power between like some individuals, because it can't be contained by just one. And you know, I think that'll be an interesting season to go by. But you know, if they're going with Mystique, maybe a bit more of like an espionage kind of like season would be quite nice. Like keep it really grounded and really focus on like the politics of X-Men, as opposed to, you know, the sort of racial aspects, if you like, in that sort of level of discrimination. Like call it like just try and see how it affects politics more than anything else. And I think that's where my expectations would go, but I would like to see them just go a bit like rogue with it, I guess, for lack of a better word.
I see what you did there. I want to shout out Lecky, who said they might be leaning into the God loves, man kills storyline.
I'm not aware of that. I'll put my hands
Me
up.
neither. I'm a casual, but that sounds great. And I like what you said about the Phoenix Force. I want to get to that. But to answer my own question, I would like it. So first of all, I feel like Mystique's reveal here makes sense if she is not the Galactus, but more so the Silver Surfer. If she is like the messenger or the best woman, I guess, to the next season's villain, I think that makes sense. Personally, what I'd like to see, and I've seen this through the YouTube videos I've been doing, I want to see Onslaught.
Yes.
Now, to those who don't know what Onslaught is, oh my god, it's basically Professor X, but in Magneto's suit of armor. and he is super powerful. Those comics, I do want to read them because I think they go to a really dark place. But I do think it would be nice to see Professor X consumed by grief and the loss of his best frenemy / X. That he is so consumed with anger and hate that he assumes Magneto's armor and I guess takes on a bit more of a personality that is Xavier in the physical sense, but is Magneto in the spiritual and the mental sense. I want to see that so badly. I think it's time. Everyone thinks Professor X is this goody two shoes, guys. No, he's not. He is one of the most morally grey characters in the entire franchise, and the PR has been amazing for like 30 years. I'll give him that. He's nasty, and I want the people to see it firsthand. I think whoever's doing the voice acting for Professor X has the range for it as well.
Yeah.
He has done such a good job. That bit where he's like, "How wise your mother for abandoning you to bake in the sun. Do you think she saw the monster you would become?" Ugh!
The delivery on that was sensational.
It was like a wrestling promo. Absolutely cinema. And then what I'd like to see is the Phoenix Force come down, and then we see Avengers versus X-Men. I think that should be put off for a couple seasons, but I think that should be like, this is where we're going. Because in that story, the Phoenix Force comes and is shared between a few individuals. I think Emma Frost is there.
Yeah.
Namor, who's a piece of shit, is in there. And Cyclops is there. And I don't I feel like there are a few pivotal moments, and I don't really want to say because they're too much of a spoiler.
Yeah.
Read the comics, I would say, which I'm going to do because I'm a casual. But I would love to see that storyline play out on TV and hopefully a video game. Just saying. I want to see that. Yeah. Any final comments from you, Ravi?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few things that they've alluded to throughout both the original show and 97 where, you know, stuff like the Weapon X program, stuff like the other rival factions and things like that. I think where this is headed is somewhere where it's like the search for a dominant faction, like the whole sort of like rebranding from X-Men to X-Corp, but like it's the whole sort of like Hermes going, we're every now, we're going to change so much, but I'm like, no, guys, you're still the same. It's the same staff, it's the same company, it's the same everything. It's just a different name. Like it's like that. It felt a bit silly because I know X Corp is its own little thing, but like if it was like a full-on deviated faction away from what the X-Men were, great. But it's literally just more of the same, just in a tall skyscraper as opposed to a mansion.
Yeah, I get that. I feel like they explained the reasoning well in kayfabe.
Yeah,
well enough. But I do get what you mean. It is basically the Hermes everything. Like you've just rebranded. It's the same thing. You've just moved away to pay less tax. Like
yeah. But yeah, I just think it would be really nice to. Well, I say really nice. It would be really interesting to see that split of the factions and really what everyone stands for. And how that affects it. Like, if we are going to go the political route, how that affects what society deems is the right course of action for what mutants are in that world.
Are you saying? Are you proposing an X-Men Civil War?
I mean, like it seemed like it was it did head that way for like a variety of for a couple of different points where, you know, X Factor were beefing X-Men, like X Force were beefing everyone at that point. So it's one of them things where it's just like I'd like to see the sort of response that sort of like regular society has towards mutants based on the actions of those groups, and
Yeah.
whether they align at some point based on whoever the big bad threat is, or whether like they take sides and it goes out into an all out civil war. I think it will be interesting, but it would almost feel as if that's going to be the plan for season 3, then it feels like almost like a holding season, just
Mm.
just for like the next big bad to come along. Like it feels like the one that if someone was going to skip, they'd skip it, and
Yeah.
if they came back for season 4, nothing would have really changed.
I don't think they can afford that.
I don't think so either.
Because they definitely garnered some goodwill with season 1.
Yeah,
And I feel like season 2 is one of those, you know what? I trust you. You're one of my favorite customers. I'm gonna stick on with you. I
yeah,
don't know how many more seasons they have of that. I don't think they can afford a filler season.
yeah. What I would say is this could age like Avengers Age of Ultron aged. Like at the
Mm,
time, people watched Age of Ultron and they were like, this bit shit. You look back on Age of Ultron now, it's arguably the most important Avengers movie in the lead up
yeah.
to Endgame, because so much happens in there that has so much like relevance towards Infinity War and Endgame. We were just a bit like, oh yeah, that whole thing was explained in this. Like this, like that potential like filler, like in very inverted quotes, season could very much be that sort of thing of just like, they've built out this world of what society is like, and then they can almost have like, if they're going by timeline, they could even end on sort of like X-Men Millennium or whatever it is, and then just see sort of where the world is and who the big bad threat is. But at like, it can't not be Apocalypse. Like it just
Mm,
has to be, because
yeah.
he is the true big bad of X-Men.
Yeah. 100%. And like I don't remember what his sideman is called, but like the catchphrase is Apocalypse was, Apocalypse is, Apocalypse always will be. So he has to be the reoccurring big
Yeah,
bad villain until he's put down for good. Um, like they did in Samurai Jack with Aku finally getting defeated in the end. Um, that's a good point. I would like to see an X-Men Civil War. We kind of did see obviously
yeah,
a coalition between X-Force and X-Factor because of the Apocalypse danger. It would be nice to see if in season 3 people kind of deviate, and there are 2 big factions, but out of the 3 teams now, people kind of deviate one way or the other.
yeah,
That would be cool. An X-Men Civil War would definitely be cool.
yeah. And I think the way that they're doing it is sort of like X Corp is this sort of like new X-Men, but then you've also like what X Factor are like a government
Mhm.
like task force really, and like they might effectively be like 90s ICE at this point. Well, like
You know what? Yeah, that's not a bad comparison
it's
at
not a bad
all.
comparison. Like they could turn them into sort of like, oh yeah, we're fighting for justice, but we're actually like just imprisoning. I mean, they were
They
imprisoning
were.
mutants.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they like effectively that's what they are, and like you could have some humans siding with the fact that going like, these people are protecting us despite being mutants themselves, and then you've got X Force who are just like, no, we'll just fight everyone.
Yeah. Okay. No, okay, maybe we'll stay between the 3.
Yeah,
Because
but
they do
like,
stand for vastly different things.
yeah, and then you've got like Emma Frost, like doing whatever she's doing. Like she was
Yeah.
just going like, well, whoever pays me the most, I guess
Yeah.
wins.
Yeah.
So she can have her own group, and effectively there's some sort of like billionaire class, like they've got with the Hellfire Club way back when. So there are options.
Hmm. Yeah, there are several ways that the story could go. I was just watching something with the Morlocks in season 3, so
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened with them, but yeah, very interesting. And Leech is obviously going to outlive everyone. So
Yeah. Like Leech will always outlive everyone.
yeah,
He's just such a weird little dude.
yeah.
There's just something off about him that I just don't really vibe with.
What if he ends up being like some mad strong mutant in disguise?
Well, it'll be like, bro, where were you all this time?
Yeah. I want to thank Ravi so much for joining us today on this episode. Where he did more for this episode than my internet. I'll tell you that for free. Let the people know where they can follow you, support you, and what projects you've got coming up, especially this Premier League season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a regular guest on the Arsenal Women Chat Show. So I do that very regularly. And with the WSL season coming back, I'll be appearing on a lot more episodes. Well, fingers crossed that will be. Also, under the same umbrella of the Canon, I am now the co-host of the Fantasy Football Breakdown, so the FPL Breakdown. So every Thursday, George and I will go live with that. So if you like your fantasy football, feel free to join like on the FPL Breakdown show. That will be the next episode is on Thursday at 7 p.m. So that will be previewing game week 1. Let's hope everyone's team is nice and prepped for it. I want to get back into streaming a bit more. I started dabbling back in again with some Pokemon games. I'm playing Football Manager again, so maybe there could be some more of that. So yeah, there's a lot that I'm getting involved in. But you'll see me again on Streamcast very soon as well.
Absolutely. Once you have finished following Ravi, I think it's Palmer 1993 on YouTube and Twitch. Support the Streamcast, whether that be on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. Streamcast_ on the 2 latter ones. And of course, youtube.com/Streamcast. Like the video if you're watching live or on demand. Subscribe, help us get to 1,000 subscribers. And it's a jam-packed week for the Streamcast as I check my snaky internet. On Wednesday, part 7 of the Pokemon Fire Red Nuzlocke will continue from 9 p.m. BST. And I'm hoping I remember to get to Fuchsia City or town, I can't remember, and relearn the Fury Cutter move because Ravi was very upset when I forgot that move.
I was raging. I was absolutely raging. Like honestly, I was typing so quickly trying to get that message in. There was that typos in there, and I was like trying to correct it, and I was like, no, just get the message out.
I will fix that mistake. Don't you worry. And like I said at the start of the episode, it is a Ravi sandwich week because, like Sting said, it's a brand new day. We will be reviewing Spider-Man Brand New Day, which has cracked $2 billion now in the box office. Look, everyone knows Tom Holland's my favorite. Shout out to Josh Santana, who's joined via Instagram. And we're going to spoil this movie. You've had long enough. All right? I don't want to hear any complaints. Either watch the movie by Thursday or, I don't know, watch it anyway. I'm going to do a 60-second spoiler-free review on Instagram on Friday. But Ravi will be right back here reviewing this movie with your boy. And on next Monday from 8 p.m., I will be interviewing Jeffrey Oyinola, the founder of Pick Up the Mic. And whilst that is not Jeffrey, he should be here on Monday. And finally, the Streamcast Club is back on the 3rd of September, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. over at Zombie Games Cafe. They have confirmed that we will be there pretty much every month now. They love us and we love them. And we love you people. So come through, play games with us on the 3rd of September. And shout out to DB Adam, who's joined via Instagram right at the end. Until Wednesday or Friday, till the next time, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Shout out Ravi once again for joining us. Well wishes to the phenomenal one. we'll see you on the next Streamcast.